Good morning. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 says this: The Lord said to Abraham, "Go from your country and your people and your father's household to the land I will show you." Have you ever heard people say that they don't do details? When they say that, they usually think of themselves as a big picture person, that they focus on the big idea and they don't bog themselves down with the details. Maybe you're in that camp, or maybe you're a very detail-oriented person and you're all about the details. You live for going to the store, buying one of those pieces of furniture, getting the instruction manual out, and making sure that you have all the screws and you know exactly where all they go. Maybe you fall into that camp. When we talk about God, it's interesting because in some ways, God doesn't do details either. Now, when it comes to being detail-oriented, God is very much that. He knows the numbers of hairs on your head. He knows when a bird falls from the sky. So in the grand scheme of the universe, he has management on lockdown. He's got all the details written down to very specifics. He knows exactly when something happens and how it's going to happen. But God doesn't always share those details with you and I. And sometimes that can become very frustrating. We step out in obedience to follow God, only to all of a sudden run into an obstacle and be unsure of exactly what we're supposed to do. We would love to have all the contingency plans laid out for us by God, but that's not how he operates. I'm sure Abraham at one point would have loved God to hand him a GPS and he would have been on his way. Being able to follow the exact plan, to stay in sync, to be on schedule. But God gives us something so much better than a GPS. He gives us a promise that when we're obedient to him, when we walk in his ways, we will always be in his will, and that he goes with us. When we step out of obedience and we run into a struggle, we can be assured that God is with us. He does not leave us nor forsake us. So on your adventures this week, as you're setting out goals and walking those out, and you run into obstacles, you run into a fork in the road and you're not sure whether to go right or left, be assured of this: God goes with you. And that's today's Ministry Minute.